Yes, guys. Welcome back to another stream, man. Hopefully, you guys are all doing well. Smash that likes up on the way. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. Yeah, man. Bit of a Champions League show, bit of a Premier League show, bit of everything, man. So make sure you guys are smashing up the likes. Roms is on his way, so we're going to get his opinion on that Liverpool scam yesterday because that was actually insane. I can't believe what I witnessed there. That was actually wild yesterday, man. But yeah, big up to everyone. Big up to Wolfie, Dan, and Potsy as well, man. Hope you guys are good. You know what? Let's start off with City versus Forest and Forest because Rom's not here yet. We'll speak about Liverpool when Rom's is here. Wolfie, man, what's going on with Forest, mate? You know what I mean? Because I can't lie, mate. 3 or 4 weeks ago, you was pretty much nailed on for top 5 Champions League football. Now you got 1 win in 5, and get a bit nervous, bro. The pressure.
Yeah, we're playing shit, mate. The football's gone terrible. It's like, what was our last game? The Arsenal game. That's how bad it was. I can't remember that was our last game. That was one of the most dire matches I've ever watched. And I don't know, man. Nuno's just playing a bit too conservatively. Maybe he's trying to protect the position, and in doing that has gone too far the other way. But honestly, last month, since we beat Brighton 7-0, I can't think of a game we've played well. Even Ipswich in the cup, we were crap. You know, we had little spells. I thought our penalties were good, but outside of that, there was nothing that exciting that happened. I still think we'll be all right for it. I think by the end of this weekend, we could be 5th because Chelsea got a free win this weekend, haven't they, against Leicester? So they'll jump. I mean, if you don't, my God. So I could see that happening. I think you'll see Forest playing for a draw tomorrow. I think Nuno will be happy with a draw. And then our run gets easier. I think our one real hard game after you guys tomorrow is Villa away. Then we play 8. In our last 10, we've got 8 bottom clubs, as in bottom half clubs, and 2 in the top half. So we'll see. But I think Nuno's gone too conservative. But I still think we'll be all right.
I think you're feeling the pressure, bro. I can't lie.
Me or Nuno?
Well, you might be as well, but, but Nuno and the players, man, because I always go back to when West Ham did this a few years ago. I don't think they sustained it as long as you have, but they was in the top 4 for like pretty much all season, and then they just tanked, man, as soon as the pressure got on. And I'm looking at Forest there, 1 win in 5. Like 3 weeks ago, you guys was like, you was talking about the league, Wolfie. And obviously, like this weekend is massive, man, because like, and obviously City might not win the game anyway. If City do win, we overtake you. Chelsea, if they win, they overtake you. And Newcastle, if they win, they go 1 point behind. So it's like, fuck yeah, now, man. Like, what this is how quickly it can change. It's actually wild.
Yeah, I think I expect you lot to overtake us. I think long term, I don't think Chelsea will be sustainable enough. And then the thing that's going to save Forest isn't that we're going to be better than everyone else. It's just everyone else is going to be just as inconsistent. I can't see Newcastle being that consistent, or Chelsea, or Bournemouth. I think the rest might just be a little too far away. So, you know, I don't really care right now as long as we get over the line, man. As long as we get over the line. But I just think he's going to go really, really conservative on Saturday.
What, to get a point?
Yeah, to get a point. Because he was really happy with the point against Arsenal. And I was looking at it thinking, this is the weakest Arsenal team that's come to the City ground since we've been promoted. Because they had no attack. They literally had no attack. And I mean, it showed. They had 1 shot on target, we had 2. And I wouldn't say our 2 on target were, you know, edge of the seat shots. So he's just going too conservative, man. And I think he'll do it again this weekend.
Potsy, what are you saying? You played them last week. You got a draw. Obviously not good for you, but like, what were you saying about Forest, man? You think they're falling off? You think the wheels are coming off, bro?
Yeah, but I didn't really not expect this to happen because they were in a position that no one could quite believe. I mean, it's unbelievable what they've done, right? It is. Nobody had Forest in the Champions League spots. I said I felt they'd come 6th, and I still believe that they'll float around 5th or 6th. I think they'll definitely finish below Man City. I don't think it's Chelsea. I think it's Newcastle that I'm interested in. And I am looking at Aston Villa of late as well, because I'm starting to wonder if they could actually pull themselves back into a kind of European spot / Champions League spot. So close there, man. People think that it's a done deal, but from 3rd to 10th, 7th. I think it's mad, isn't it? So I think when you look at that, look,
6
Nottingham
points,
Forest,
bro. 6 points, man.
I mean, like people are saying it's a given that Villa are out of it. They're not. Neither are the likes of Brighton and Bournemouth. I know it sounds mad, but they're not Fulham. All these teams that are in and around, they can actually like you never imagine they'd be in this position, but they all are. And I think what I will say is this season, a lot of the teams have not got better. I think what happens is the top 4 have got worse. I look at City. No one thought City and Bournemouth would be on the similar points, you know, and Arsenal aren't exactly miles away in front of that either. Chelsea, United, Spurs, Newcastle, Villa, none of them have really pushed on from last season, and some of them have gone backwards. So I think you've got to look at that realistically. That doesn't take anything away from Forest, Brighton, Fulham, and Bournemouth, by the way, though, because they can only do what they're doing. I've looked at Newcastle's fixtures, and people think I've got this soft spot for Newcastle, but I actually look at their fixtures and think there's only really Villa away, and I think Brighton away. All of the others, they have got Chelsea, but it's at home. They have got United, but it's at home. They have got Arsenal away, which is tough. But they always seem to beat us, so I don't think it'd be too tough looking at Newcastle's side of things. But I will say this, I do think that they're not out of it. I think they've got a great chance of getting Champions League. And if I'm honest, I expect Manchester City to come third quite comfortably into that now. I think Manchester City will be all right. And if they get Rodri back sooner than expected, they'll definitely be all right. Okay, so yeah, Forest, I wasn't impressed with them, but I wasn't impressed with the game, Wolfie. It was so shit, man. It was embarrassing, if I'm honest. Both teams were just dodgy as anything. Both teams were just stinking it out and just like, do you know what? We'll take a point and let's move on and never revisit that game again because it was embarrassingly bad. And to be fair, I've not had good experiences at the City ground. You know, they took this, they did the title jobby on us a couple of seasons ago. The season before that, when they were in the Championship, I remember playing in that white kit and they did us 1-0 with that goal. So I look now and think, yeah, it's not been a great place for us there, but they need to be looking at their season. And I know you hold the high standards, Wolfie, but even if you finished 6th or 7th, I know it's only Conference League or whatever. That's an unbelievable achievement in the first start of this. Before a ball's kicked, no one had them anywhere near. Now, I understand expectations change, and now you'll be disappointed if you drop out of Champions League. And I hear that, right? But if I said to you at the start of the season, look, before a ball's kicked, you'll give you 7th now, you'd go, go on then, we'll take a bit of that. Conference League. And you know what? You might have a chance of even winning a trophy there because that's what, let's be real, Chelsea should easily be doing. So that's where I'm at with Forest. I have you floating around 5th or 6th at the moment, but it's so close that you wouldn't want to rule out the fact that they could drop out of Europe. But you have got to pick it up a bit. I mean, I don't know if it's Nuno's system's been found out a bit, Wolfie, or if maybe there's been a couple of problems with individuals or just dropped off a bit. But I still rate what they've done, and I still rate your 11, man. I think it's got a little bit of everything, in my opinion, in each department. Like, I like the partnership of Murillo and Milenkovic. I think Elliot Anderson's been wonderful in midfield, and I think you've got that little bit of bite with Ryan Yates and Dominguez. I also think you've got pace and power up top and out wide. So you've got a little bit of everything, man. So I think Nuno deserves credit, but I can't really picture where Forest are going to finish at the moment. I'd have them floating around 5th or 6th right now if I had to take a punt on it.
Yeah, there's a couple that dropped off, like massively. Like Ola Aina, for me, has been one of the best right backs in the league. He's been absolute crap the last 3 or 4 weeks. He just looks knackered, or he looks like he can't be asked. I don't know which one it is.
Has he signed a new contract, Tim, yet, Wolfie?
So I've been told, don't worry about it. He's gonna sign. There's been nothing official announced, and he's into his last 6 months. I don't know if that's playing into what have you, but no, there's been nothing officially announced. So I don't know what's happening with him at the moment. That's got to be playing on his mind. He's always on bloody TikTok stuff and everything.
Did you see his docu? Did you see his docu video, bro? Did you see it?
No. What's he done now? The one where he said he's so scared of him, or he's having nightmares or something. Yeah,
someone messaged him on that and said, "Oh, how are you thinking about marking docu?" And he said, "Oh, why are you trying to give me nightmares already?" or something like that, man. Pretty
Such a dumb thing to say. Now imagine docu does cook him. Yeah, I'm gonna be on his case like after the match straight away. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know, man. But what I will say is, whichever team goes on a mini run in that battle from 3rd to 10th, if a team goes 3 W's in a row,
you got it.
Put their name in the top 5. It's like,
well, there's 11 games left now, right? So Forest, I think Arsenal have got top 4. Right? I think they've got enough, right? So Forest are on 48, and obviously Villa are on 42. 11 games left. Villa have played an extra game. How many points you reckon you need to get top 5? Because it's top 5, and let's be honest. How many points you reckon you need to be aiming for?
66.
Yeah, I was going to say about 60 to 65. I think might just be enough.
Yeah. On average, is 66 gets you top 5.
Does it?
Unless you think like Dan was saying, like the standards have dropped a bit to get there.
I feel like enough teams in the top 4 or 5 are going to lose enough games that total could be a little bit low. A little bit low. I don't know how much, but
I agree. Because
when you think of it like that, that gives me a little more good feeling, because I look at it, I think we still got Leicester to play. We still got a lot of the crappers at the bottom.
Do you think
play.
you're in a
Can I get
position?
5 wins out of that? I reckon I can. You know.
Yeah. Like, do you think Forest are in a false position in the table? Do you think it's lying at the moment, or do you think that seems about right?
No, it feels about right. It feels about right.
Feels okay. I think
if we're in November, you know, then there's a different story. But we're now into March now. You are where you are, kind of thing.
If this is your blip and it lasts this amount of time and you get back on it before the end of the season, I think you'll get into the top. I think you'll get Champions League football, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is the period I expected, where we had Man City, we had Arsenal, we had Fulham, we had Bournemouth, Newcastle. 5 teams we've struggled on since we've been back. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna be pissed off come Saturday afternoon. I know that already, and I've just got to make my peace with it. And then we have to beat Ipswich, because we've got Ipswich after the Man U.
Yeah, you got, so these are your fixtures, right? You got City, Ipswich, United, Villa, Everton, Spurs, Brentford, Palace, Leicester, West Ham, Chelsea. That Chelsea game, by the way, last game of the season, could be tasty, couldn't it?
Is it your ground, Wolfie, as well?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would say, the way them fixtures are panned out, you've got winnable, not sure, winnable, not sure, winnable, not sure. It actually does go like that. When I was listening to them as they've been read out, I'm like, Villa, Ipswich, okay, Chelsea, Villa, do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, hang on a minute, you've got one that you can win, one that you might struggle against. So I don't know. I wouldn't say, I mean, like, LB might disagree because he watches them a lot more than me. I wouldn't go into this game thinking our City will smash us here. I don't think City have been blitzing teams of late. Have they, LB? I don't know.
No. We've definitely been better, but I think it's going to be a well tough game. It's 12:30 kickoff on Saturday. We all know what that's like as well, man.
I hate them.
You know what I mean?
I can't stand them.
So I actually think we might nick it, which is pretty mad coming from me, because I've been pretty down all season. But I think we might nick it. But, you know, it's going to be a close game, man. Do you know what I'm saying? It is going to be a close game. And do you know what I mean? If we get a point out of it, I don't think that's the worst point in the world for either team, really. You know what I mean? I think we both get a point. We keep it moving. But whoever wins is massive. It's absolutely massive if someone can get a win here. But yeah, I'm looking at this, right? So if you look at Ipswich away, that needs to be a win. Everton at home, that needs to be a win. Leicester away, Leicester at home. Yeah, maybe United. Well, probably, United, that's 4. And then maybe one of the Palace or West Ham games away. That's 5. Yeah. So there, for me, that's 5 games that you should be winning. If you win all 5 of those games, you probably get Champions League. It's done.
Yeah. I agree. And that's roughly how
Chelsea,
I see it.
You can lose against United. You can lose against City. Like, you need to win those games, though, for me. They're the ones, innit?
I think what Dan was saying was win like that. That's kind of the end of season Forest need, is like win this game, lose one, win one game.
As long as you don't want a bad run. Like, as long as you're bouncing back each time. When's Rodri back anyway, LB? Real talk.
Rodri's in solo training. And so he's probably going to be back by end of April.
Man, he's going to win you the FA Cup, innit? You can see it now. It's going to.
We just need to fucking get to the FA Cup final before he's back.
If you get 3rd FA Cup final, I think that's still a good season considering how drastic it was at one point.
I agree. So I agree with what Pep said. So on the face of it, for this football club where we are now, that's not really a good season anymore for us on the face of it. I know some City fans will disagree, but that's Pep saying that as well. However, you also have to look at the fact that 3 months ago, I was thinking, we're not going to finish Champions League. We're going to win fuck all. Yeah. The fan base was in disarray. The squad was an absolute mess. The manager was doing stupid tactics. And now, if we can find a way to win the FA Cup and finish Champions League and then go to that Club World Cup at the end of the season, I think that's a pretty...
And then probably win that as well.
Bro, you got to be looking at that and going, you know what? Fairs. We've actually managed to win something in a horrific season, because this season has been so bad. 1 win in 14 games, you know. You know how bad that is. I don't think people deep just how bad that actually is.
That makes my club look worse, LB. What are you talking about, man? Because that was us, that 1 win in 14 games, man. Do you know how bad that is?
Oh, yeah, it was you. Yeah. It was actually a 3-0. Yeah, that was a weird game. because you was actually crap that day as well. So I don't
We
get
played,
it.
Forest has not caused us any problems really this season, and normally they
Mm.
do. Even at the home game, like last season and
Too
seasons
much
before, they've
respect,
been
man. We gave
weird.
both your teams too much respect. That was
I
the
was
problem.
that was probably our most convincing win this season, Premier League wise. I would say Forest. I was
And
like,
that was Odegaard's best game, or only best game of the league.
It's
Yeah,
the only game he's actually played well. But man, if Man City win this FA Cup and finish in the top 4, I'll be pissed. I can't lie, because that they've had a better season than us if they win silverware.
Well, you're winning the
real
Champions
talk.
League now, aren't you?
Yeah, man, we're through in the Champions League. We're not getting through the next round, man. We've got one of the Madrids, man. That's not gonna be good news.
Where did that result come from, Dan? By the way, like, come on,
I don't know, bro.
7 goals, mate. You were great, to be fair. Way better than I expected.
We were great, mate. We were. Do you want to move to that segue to that LB yet or not?
Yeah, let me do these chats, man. Let me do these chats, and then we'll come to that. Yo, big up to Tinsay. City gets the last laugh with the FA Cup 115 win and 3rd in the Premier League. Bro, yeah, the 115 thing is massive as well. If we can bust
Where is the 115, man?
You can't put that into your footballing achievements for the season, though, can you?
When is it, LB? LB, when you getting relegated, by the way? Because when are we going to hear about 115?
I reckon it might be an international break.
Oh yeah, that soon.
Yeah. Well, they said March, April time, and international break. It suits the Premier League in it to release the news when the Premier League's not on, to sort of like let things chill and simmer. Whereas if they release the news and then there's a Premier League game like the day after or whatever, then it's like fucking hell, everyone's gonna be. I think
they got Gary Neville like straight away.
No, they can't hold it. They can't hold it. If the verdict's in, they've got to release it.
Yeah, but they'll just tell the guys like, "Oh, we got the verdict. Yeah, well, don't send it to us yet. Send it to us." You know what I mean?
Nah, they can't, because they didn't do that with us last year or Everton.
Nah, they definitely can, mate. They definitely.
Oh, they definitely do release stuff during international break. 100%.
They definitely do. They definitely do.
Is it gonna be that soon? Wow, I don't know.
I reckon it's this month, man. I reckon it's this month. We're gonna find out.
I do just want to know though. I just want the truth to come out and move on, because I'm bored of it. Every time we come on a podcast, what do we think of 115? I literally don't give a shit. I've got no interest in that whatsoever now. Like, I can't be asked any of this finance, PSR rubbish. I just want to talk about football, man. I get so bored of it. I get so annoyed. If they've done something wrong, yeah, throw the book at them. If they ain't, then they ain't. We move on. I just want to know now, because we've been talking about this for how long? How many years?
You need to stop planning for relegation or not?
I would be stunned if anything happens other than non-compliance fines. I'll be stunned.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think anything happens footballing wise at all.
Yeah,
I don't know.
What do you mean?
I love Wolfie. I love Wolfie. Wolfie's like, he has to be that guy.
What do you mean you don't?
No, I'm just saying you can't throw points at Everton and Forest and Leicester cheated their way out of it, didn't they, this season? I'm not saying. Huh?
You can if you're guilty.
Yeah, you're saying you're gonna get past 115. It's 119 now, isn't it, or whatever
I'm saying factually, you're a guilty football club.
Yeah, no, we got a speeding ticket, mate. That's all we did. You know what I'm saying? It's a speeding ticket. You don't get to prison.
Am I speaking facts on that?
Yeah.
Am I speaking facts on that?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you. But there's a difference. There's a difference between murder and speeding. That's what I'm saying.
Everything you've done this year is tainted. It's tainted.
It's not. It's not.
A caveat. There's an asterisk next to Forest in the Premier League table saying cheaters.
Mate, this ain't Liverpool winning it in COVID, mate. We got a speeding ticket. That's it. We got a couple of points on our license, and you move on. You can't treat us like we're freaking some axe murderer, right? That's the difference here. You are a serial killers, man. I picked up a speeding ticket. You're serial killers.
No.
Alleged serial killers.
You're guilty. You're guilty.
Get a Netflix stock.
But I was like, you got 115 potential victims there. Right, all I need to find is one dead body. That's it,
bro.
That's it.
I'm innocent until proven guilty. You're guilty.
Yeah, okay, but you haven't, had your day in court apparently, and I just want to know what happens in your day in court. That's all I'm saying.
Wolfie, didn't you get
LB,
done?
They find one body, man. I'm coming for you.
Didn't you get done because you held on to Brennan Johnson? Isn't that
2
why?
weeks.
If you just sold Brennan Johnson,
we sold him
prior,
3. We sold him on the last day of the season because they'd been negotiating with Levy for a little bit, and they held on to get Forest held on to get more money out of Levy, and we got punished for being more sustainable, even though it's called profit and sustainability rules. So it is what it is. I don't really give a shit about that because we are where we are. I tell Newcastle fans, why don't you just break PSR? You're not going to be in a relegation battle.
All jokes aside, I actually have said that to Newcastle fans as well. Just
go break PSR. Get yourself even a 10-point penalty. Next season, just buy yourself the God squad you want. And then the season after, you win the league. Look what I did for Forest. We went from 17th to the 3rd as we are now, just because we broke it by a little. It wasn't even a lot.
I'm honest, it's worth breaking it, isn't it? If that's what you get, it's worth breaking it. It's pointless having it, man. This PSR thing is a waste. It's an absolute joke, but that's the way it is, man.
No, it's crazy.
We'll see, man.
We'll look at someone who's chat before we move on to Arsenal. Big up to Alf. Says, Forest had a great season, but City should beat anyone. We have no more midweek and injuries aren't too bad at the moment. Surely we'll start winning now. Yeah, hopefully, bro. Hopefully. I think we'll win. I think we'll get a win, man, but we'll see, innit? You know what I mean? It's a difficult place to play football, and it's Saturday morning, you know what I mean? Which is also just disgustingly grim. Bit to Hassan as well. Says, Haram football is so satisfying. Nothing like it. I get out of here, man. We'll speak about Liverpool when Roms gets there. He's just in a meeting at the moment, man. But let's turn our attention onto Arsenal, mate. Destroyed PSV. Karl, didn't see that one coming, to be honest with you. I mean, we did straight facts, didn't we, before the game? And I can't remember what you were saying, but I don't think you was like mad confident. And you know, 7 goals, bro. I mean, you could play the kids in the next game, man.
Insane. I hope we do rotate and give some of these guys a needed break because some of them are playing way too much football with the injuries that we've had and got. So for me, I think it's a great opportunity now to give a little bit of rotation. What I'll say is this. A lot of the disrespect I'm hearing, actually, and I'm not normally one to do this, by the way, but rival fans make me laugh. They're like, it's going to be 0-0 or they're going to lose Arsenal 1-0. And then we win 7-1. Everyone's like, well, they're rubbish, aren't they, PSV? It's awful. It's obviously always going to happen. No, it wasn't. Nobody predicted us to get 7 goals. So, let's just keep it balanced, yeah? Let's keep it realistic. I like to think that I normally try to do that. Praise and criticism. Let's give praise where praise is due, man. I think we deserve praise. I thought we were really good going forward. Yeah, PSV were shocking on the night, but when they're shocking, I've seen us come up against shocking teams and lose, or shocking teams and draw and not beat them. Yeah, so we absolutely destroyed them. And when it went to a couple, I thought, you know what? Yeah, the Lewis Skelly red card probably was. That could have changed it, but it was 2-0 uncomfortable, if I'm honest with you. PSV had a couple of chances, but we had a couple of chances we missed as well. So the thing is, what I liked, to be fair, lads, was we had 8 shots and we scored 7. That is unheard of at Arsenal. We normally have 18 shots and score 1. So for me, to have 8 shots and score 7 goals was pretty clinical. And the fact that we haven't got our front line at the moment is fair. But I've been saying for a while that without Saka and Havertz, we've pretty much got our strongest 11, right? So there is a chance that we can go on a little bit of a run. And I want to see momentum now. Really impressed with Trossard. Unbelievable game from Rice. Timber was outstanding. Ødegaard's second half was superb to watch. Defensively good again. But these 2 kids are special. And I keep telling people, this Ethan Nwaneri kid is a baller, bro. Absolute ridiculous talent at that age. Because people are comparing him to the likes of Saka and Foden and all these guys. This lad is doing it at this age. And I don't believe Saka was anywhere near the first team at 17. It was 18, 19 at a left back that he got his chance. So Ethan Nwaneri has come in now and they've combined between Lewis Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri at 18, 17 years old, the youngest in Champions League history that a goal and assist has been scored. That's phenomenal for 2 of our young Howland boys to do. So I'm proud of that. And I think I should be, and I stand by the fact that I think Ethan Nwaneri is now the backup to Saka. I don't actually think we will go and get back up to Saka. I think there's an opportunity for us to go and get a couple of attackers. But actually, Ethan's proven he can play there. And I'm a big, big fan. And we've got the question mark now of when Saka and Martinelli come back, where does Ethan play? Well, I'm putting him through the middle, or I'm putting him in the attacking 8, because I'm not dropping the kid. He's been our best player this last period of time. And 8 goals already. Ødegaard's got 4. This kid's got 8.
Yeah, that is crazy.
3 different competitions, man. He's got 2. He's got 2 in the Champions League now. Yeah, he's got 3 in the Carabao Cup, and he's got 3 in the Premier League. And this is kid 17. Like, honestly, man, people were talking about this Max Dowman kid at the moment being 15 and looking phenomenal. Yeah, that's true, but don't let that take away what Ethan's doing, man. Because at 17, when you come in and you do this, you take your opportunity. Because people are saying, "Oh, well, it's because Saka's out." Yeah, exactly. He's got his opportunity and he's taking it. You can't say that. The kid's been phenomenal. I think he deserves all the plaudits he's getting. He's humble as well. You know, like with Miles Lewis-Skelly, he's got that little bit of bite in it. He's got to be careful. He keeps getting red cards and he's getting yellow cards, which people like in their team. No one cared when Vieira and Keane did it, right? He has got to mature a little bit. But Ethan is so humble, man. He just lets his football do the talking. Every time he cuts in on that left foot, I'm out of my seat thinking this is going to hit top bins or at least go on target or create something. I think he's got a good delivery, good set piece taker. He's got a little bit of everything, this kid, man. And a lot of people are saying we're overhyping him. No one's comparing him to Yamal. No one's saying he's better than Saka already. But what we are saying is that he's got the potential to be anything he wants to be. The world's at his feet at 17 years old. I hope that his mentality is what it looks like and he isn't behind the scenes a little bit nasty because he sounds like a wonderful kid. I know people that have met him at 15, 16 and said he was an absolute joy. And I feel like he's going to have a real good future. And, you know, I say this lastly, you all see kids in your academy and you go, wow. You also see kids in your academy, you think, yeah, they could make it in the game. I look at these two lads and I think they're going to make it at Arsenal. Yeah. Not they might play for Fulham one day like Reece Nelson and Smith Rowe. Or, yeah, do you know what? Maybe to Joe Willock and he needs a Newcastle move. Or Maitland-Niles needs a couple of clubs before he settles. These two are absolutely brilliant. Lewis-Skelly is our best left back. Right, he's better than the others that we're proud to play. We actually bought another left back, and he looks better going forward. Yeah, Lewis-Skelly for me has a future in midfield potentially, but definitely looks the best left back that we've got. And Ethan right now starts. I don't know what you boys think of these two kids.
I think they're both very, very good, and I think Calafiori's been bought for money, and I think fucking he's shite compared to this guy. But let me ask you this though, right? Because obviously the league's done, yeah, and obviously you're out the domestic cups now. You're obviously through now to the quarterfinals. It's probably going to be Real Madrid. Maybe Atletico could turn it around, but I probably back Real Madrid from here. Can you get through Real Madrid, bro? Do you reckon you can do it?
No.
Where you at? Because it's probably going to be Real Madrid.
I'll tell you why. A lot of people get excited because when people come and try to play Arsenal like PSV did, you demolish them, right? We've done that. You know, City didn't sit there and put everyone behind the ball. It was 5-1. West Ham come and actually tried to have a go at us, and that did kind of shake us when it got to 4-2, but lost 5-2. Sorry. Then you've got the situation with Sporting Lisbon. That was 5-1. Crystal Palace 5-1, and they're the best games, the most convincing games that we've had this season, right? Real Madrid are going to come and do that, but they've got the quality to demolish us. If you try and play football against Real Madrid, you're brave, right? So that's why I feel like it would be too much. Having said that, the reason that we should have kind of some positive, I suppose, vibes, if I can try and be positive for a minute, is we have got fair enough our strongest side pretty much back. Saka and Martinelli are going to be back for the Real Madrid game if we do get Real Madrid, okay? Say, and imagining that we're going through now, because I don't think we're going to lose 6-0 at the Emirates. So it looks like Saka and Martinelli are going to be fit for that game, right? Or those two games. That means there's only Havertz we're missing, and one area will play through the middle. So really, and in terms of if we don't get any more injuries, we've got our best 11 there, right? That's fit, other than Havertz. So if we have got any chance of beating Real Madrid, we need our fully fit squad. And I'm not a huge lover of Havertz. I'd rather have him. But if Ethan's playing the way that he is, I'm more than happy to see what that might look like with Martinelli.
Is Saka going to be back for that game, Real Madrid?
I mean, they're saying so, mate, but, you know, they've said before that they're back, and I don't know if that will be too much of a rush, but you're going to have to look, man. You have to look. I feel like we're going to need him. I think we've got a chance of beating him without.
Do you just rush him back? Because given the fact that is literally your season.
No, I don't think we do rush him.
Why would you not rush him back, given the fact that he's like...
Because I feel like it could have implications on the following season, if I'm honest, and I need him fit for that season, because this season's been ruined. I don't want to ruin the start of another one with him being out for the first 3 months of it. I don't know what he's going to be like, LB. I've no idea. And people think this is just a pulled hamstring and he's going to come back. Now he's better. Well, the hamstring's good. That's a horrible scar. It's a horrible injury, and it could potentially affect you. We've seen that happen before. I do blame the manager for that, and I stand by that. Some people think that's harsh, but I think it's crazy that we were playing this kid into the ground. So, look, there is definitely an opportunity for us to bring him back if he is fit. Martinelli will be fine. I think he's on the grass already. I think both of them are, but Saka's just a little bit behind Martinelli. So to answer your question, can we get through the tie? Of course we can. It's a knockout competition. Do I think we will? Absolutely not. I don't want even Madrid tied, if I'm honest with you. I don't think we'll beat Atletico over 2 either. I just think that's the way where we're at. And some people are saying to me, right, why don't you think we can get through? Because every single time there's been pressure on this side, it's crumbled and it's failed. So forget who's fit. Let's say we've got the best fit side. Everybody's fit.
Pressure is a privilege.
Well, pressure is a privilege when we went out to Man United. I mean, that is embarrassing, really, to put that on your website, isn't it? So when the pressure came, we had Man United, we crumbled. The pressure came, we had Newcastle home and away, we crumbled. I've seen over the last few, seasons, I've seen us lose to Porto away when the pressure was on. Yeah, we won on penalties, but the pressure was on. That could have gone another way. I've seen us lose to Sporting Lisbon over 2 legs, Olympiacos over 2 legs, Emery's Villarreal over 2 legs, Villa when the pressure was on, West Ham the other week when the pressure was on. I've seen us lose in League Cup, FA Cup, and Champions League / European League games when the pressure was on. So that's why I don't have the confidence. So you can say Saka's back, Martinelli's back. Wow, we're playing Ethan up top and it looks brilliant. Looks like it's working. I still don't have the confidence because I don't see that this team can get across the line under Mikel Arteta. And that's essentially what it is. So I don't have the faith that we can get into the next round, if I'm honest with you. But I don't know what you guys think. Do you think we can beat Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid?
I think you're better off against Real than Atletico. I think Atletico is your nightmare in terms of the way they set up. They're like the best when it comes to being solid, counter-attacking, and what have you. But then again, Real have got heritage. This competition, they've just got aura in this competition.
That's why I don't want them, Wolfie, because 15 Champions Leagues, it's just, man, you never want
more
them.
chance against
it's their backyard, isn't it? It's like, I don't see you beating either, I guess is my answer, mate.
Do you know what, Wolfie? I agree. I think Atleti would be a better outfit for Arsenal, but this is why I think Real Madrid are who they are, because literally the evidence was the other night when they played Atleti, they don't have to be good. I've experienced it. LB's experienced it. Like, they don't. Dan's experienced it as well. Like, they don't have to be good. They can be poor over two. I think even in the season that they beat us in the final, I think City, PSG, and Chelsea all went into the second leg ahead, and it was return leg was at the Bernabeu. Obviously, this time its roles are reversed, but I can just see Atleti being a better team in the second leg and Real Madrid just scoring out of nothing. It's just what they do. And I can see them doing it to Arsenal. I'm not of this opinion that Arsenal get battered. A lot of rival fans are saying Arsenal going to get battered by even Madrid teams. No. They'll get knocked out, but it will be close still because Arsenal still have a solid defense, their midfield. They still got that security blanket. But Real Madrid, it could be Vinny, it can be Rodrigo, it can be Mbappe, it can be Bellingham, it can be Valverde. They've got about 6 players that can just create anything out of nothing. I just think that will go against Arsenal. They got too much.
What did you guys honestly think about the Thierry Henry comments the other night? Did you hear
some of what were they? Because I've not even heard them, but
I did a video on it. I thought he was spot on.
Yeah, I did. I thought Henry or Henry was spot on.
Oh, I thought Henry was.
What did Henry say?
What did he say?
Well, the bit that I saw was basically he was saying that Arsenal over the last couple of years have not been creating enough chances. And teams realize how to set up against them, and they failed to basically like adapt or innovate their system, and that they need to basically change a little bit because everyone knows how Arsenal play. Everyone sort of knows how to play against them, and he's just basically saying you need to change. Like if you look at Pep Guardiola, the guy changes his system every year. Every year the guy changes his system. Like Arteta, I feel like the last 3 years has played the same way, or especially the last 2 years, 100% the last 2 years. So, and then I've seen Arsenal fans calling Henry out, and it was like, what?
Oh my God,
they were saying he was jealous. They were saying Thierry Henry was jealous of Arteta.
How's he jealous, man? Jealous. Jealous. This guy is not jealous of Mikel Arteta. And what people make like, yeah, well, he was a crap coach. That's why. Hang on a minute. He's not coming out saying, well, I'm actually a rubbish coach here. That's not his point at all. His point was, at the moment, and this was before the 7-1 thrashing. So, of course, when we won 7-1, all the Arsenal fans are now laughing at Henry for saying Arsenal can't create chances. He was bang on. Arsenal were not failing to create chances. Arsenal were failing to score goals. In fact, in the last 4 games prior, we only beat Leicester 2-0. And we only scored against Leicester 2-0. And that was for Mourinho flinging him on in the last 20 minutes, right? So he was absolutely bang on what he was saying. They asked him, what would you do? He said, ask Mikel. Well, how would you get the best out of these players? Ask Mikel. That's fine. That's a fair one because he's the manager. Henry can say what he would try and do. But what would Arteta try and do, right? And then the other thing that was frustrating or crying from the Arsenal fans is he was saying that why has Salah not been injured this season? Why has Saka got injured? They played the same amount of games. Now, Jamie Carragher and Michael Richards didn't say, oh, just to let you know, Salah did get injured the last time and he missed out 12 games. So I think Liverpool went on to win 10. Roms will probably correct me if I'm wrong. But when I look at that, they could have come back with that. The Arsenal fans are going, oh, my God, that's a horrendous thing to say. He's blaming our precious Mikel Arteta for Saka. And you think, what are you going on with these fans? Like, real talk, this guy, like Emmanuel Petit, Paul Merson, Tony Adams, and Thierry Henry have all got stick from the Arsenal fan base. How can we give them stick when they've been there, done the business, won trophies, 98, captained the Arsenal for across 3 decades, Tony Adams has. Thierry Henry is probably known and seen as the Premier League GOAT and the greatest Arsenal player ever. and we're protecting Arteta over these guys that are saying Arsenal need to win. Now, I'd appreciate if Mikel Arteta was lifting Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues every year. I'll be looking at them going, bloody hell, what they moaning? Perhaps they are a bit jealous and wish it was them. But this guy is not. So why are we coming for these guys over? And I mean, LB, correct me if I'm wrong. I know you did a show on it. Did you think what he said was horrendous? Do you think what he said was bad?
I thought what he said was like spot on. And I was like, I couldn't believe what I was reading on Twitter. I was like, seeing all these Arsenal fans saying he was jealous. We don't know what he's talking about. And I was like, what the hell? That's actually crazy.
It's pathetic. Like, I remember when he came out and said, do you remember when you finished 4th ahead of Spurs a good few years back? And they were taking the pictures in the changing rooms. Arsenal was celebrating it. Henry was like, I wouldn't let that happen.
One second. Look at this. This guy is calling me a twat. You, Thomas, are a twat, right? You are a muppet because there's fans like you that sit there and suck up to Mikel Arteta. Thierry Henry has called out and questioned a very sensible thing, and fans like you, a guy he's not a coach. What does he know? Man, he's given his opinion. He's a winner.
By the way, he is a coach. He's actually a highly regarded coach at international football.
I don't understand this, man. People like Thomas, this is ridiculous. What is going on with this club? Honestly, man. Maybe Thomas is 14 years old. I don't know, right? 20 years ago, Thierry Henry was playing for us. So maybe he's young. He didn't see it. I've seen it, mate. I saw Petit. I saw Adams. I saw Merson. They were all absolute legends. Why? Because they won trophies. I can't believe we're literally sticking up for this guy over legends.
But it's not even they won trophies.
They won the World Cup.
They are some of the best in Premier League history. Forget a trophy. Freaking Luke Chadwick has won a Premier League, hasn't he? We're talking about absolute ballers.
Yeah,
it's a generational thing. It's pathetic, man. It's like if Stuart Pearce came out and said something about the Forest team, even though he's manager and hasn't had a great reign as Forest manager, you still listen to what he says because you know his standards about the club and you know he bleeds the club. It's like if Henry talks on Arsenal, you shut up and listen. That's like literally how it should be. And he's right. You don't know how to break teams that defend deep against you. You couldn't do it against us. Nuno wanted a point. He was going to get a point. You couldn't do it against Everton. And where was the dynamic approach from Arteta to then go out and find a different way to win? That's what wins you titles. Finding a difference, finding a way to break down a team or get a win where you shouldn't. Pep can do it. Slot's done it this season, apart from against Forest. And that's the difference.
He's coming back and he's saying he couldn't give an answer because he doesn't know what to do. He just wants to moan.
Literally just gave it.
So my point as like an outsider is, are you basically saying Thierry Henry doesn't know what he's talking about?
That's what he's saying, this bloke.
Yeah. That's effectively what you're saying, isn't it?
That is what he's saying. That's what he's saying. He's saying
Thierry Henry. I'm just saying, as an outsider, all I can say is when I watched that video, I didn't think Thierry Henry said anything at all which was in any way derogatory about Arteta, controversial. I thought everything he said was pure reasonable. And if you're an Arsenal fan, you're more than entitled to say, I actually disagree with Thierry Henry. But the way that some of that fan base acted like Thierry Henry had just like killed the mother or something. It was absolutely ridiculous, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, listen, well, what you guys making of Arsenal then? Before we move on to Liverpool and how they scammed a win yesterday, what are you guys? Let me bring Dan Roms in. What do you think make on Arsenal, man? Do you think they've got a chance in this Champions League, or you reckon they're not going to get past the Madrid?
What I would say, I don't think they have a chance in the Champions League, but I do want to give them credit because say what you want, 7 goals in any European away game is incredible. Let alone a team that hadn't lost in 14 games, I believe, European games. So anyone that wants to try Arsenal, you can't do that. What I would say was a bit naive of PSV because I think their coaching staff and whatnot didn't do their due diligence because there's a blueprint to beat Arsenal. Like Wolfie said, Forest did it, West Ham did it. You literally just have to park the bus, but they think we're at home, we want to give it a go. But it's horses for courses. So there is a blueprint, but take nothing away from Arsenal. I think what was 6 different goal scorers and whatnot, it was quality. But I just think against better opposition that have that X factor, I don't think, like I said earlier, I don't think Arsenal get battered I don't think Arsenal get battered at all in the Champions League, but I just think other teams have those X-factor players that can create moments out of nothing, which will just get them over the line. So I don't think Arsenal will, for me, it's another trophy for the season for them. And they've got a big summer. To be fair, I'm looking around, as we all do, if we're being honest, but they may have the biggest, just because the other clubs might have credit in the bank. Actually, not Chelsea, but in terms of City, Liverpool and whatnot, we've got trophies, we've got credit in the bank where this will be them going on to 6 years. So I think they're under immense pressure, more pressure than a City and a Liverpool. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't think they'll do anything in the Champions League.
Did yesterday change, whenever it was, did it change your mind? I've asked a lot of Arsenal fans this. Like, before the PSV result and after, did you think you were going to win the Champions League before it? And do you now think after it, it's changed your mind? A lot of them said no, to be honest. A lot of them saying no.
Nah, listen, there's never been the confidence with the European heritage of Arsenal, to be fair. And this is where it comes to that. People will say that it doesn't matter. It's not the best team in Europe that always does it. But you're right with that statement. The problem is I need to see evidence, Wolfie, that we can actually get across the line against the likes of these teams. And I've named examples domestically and in cup competitions, both Europa League and Champions League, as to why we can't get across the line, even with our strongest lineup. So, yeah, look, I think we're going to take it. A lot of this is on Mikel Arteta as well, not just the mentality thing, but actually the style thing, because it's fine saying that when PSV come out and play, we can beat them. And when Ipswich come out to play or when Southampton come out to play, we can beat them. But actually, when you look at the actual scenario, we need to find a way to beat the teams that don't come out to play. And
that's why, bro, that's why, to answer Wolfie's question, I don't think yesterday changed or Tuesday changed anything for me, because like Dan Potts said before, yeah, I know that Arsenal can beat teams 5-6 goals when teams play like a more expansive game of football. We've all seen that. We know that if you play football against Arsenal, yeah, you could get battered. We've seen it. We've seen them do that last year. Remember last year with like 3-4 games in a row?
They did it to you. They did it to you.
They put 5 past us. But I remember last year, like in like February time, Potts will know the time better. I think it was just when they come back from Dubai. I remember they went to like fucking West Ham, scored 5 goals.
Yeah.
Scored like I think 3 games in a row they scored like 4 or 5 goals.
We got six against Burnley, 6 against Sheffield United, 6 against West Ham, 5 against Palace. We were blitzing them, man.
You beat us
no pressure.
You beat us 3-1, and that should have even been 4-5-1 as well.
Yeah, that was one of the most impressive performances of the season, actually, against you guys at home. Yeah, it was. And, this is what I mean. We had Forest at that time as well, funny enough. So I think when you look at it, you look now and you think this Dubai thing actually looks a waste of time, if I'm honest, because not only have we got more injuries, we've not actually come back with that. And this is what I said to these fans. You dare lose to the likes of West Ham or Leicester. When we did, so what was Dubai all about then? People that were, this is out of order that you're calling out the club going to Dubai. Look, let's be real. I didn't really care that we went to Dubai. It just had left a sour taste in my mouth that we should have been playing an FA Cup game and we're all selling it up in Dubai. That's what hurt more, is that we're out the cup, not the fact where we've gone on holiday. I couldn't give a damn whether they go to bloody Jaywick Sands or whether they go to Dubai. It doesn't bother me, right, where they go, right? So for me, it was more about the fact that we were out of another domestic cup, yeah? That's what frustrated the life out of me. And now we've gone to Dubai to relax and rest and recuperate, and we've come back with our striker, our only striker, with hamstring injury out for till next season. And Tommy Asu, by the way, who's now out until 2026, who has played 6 minutes of football. So what's going on here, man? So that's where I'm at, bro.
Let me move it on to Liverpool. Before we do, big up to Showy, man, coming in with a super sticker, bro. 199 AED, man. Appreciate the super chat, bro. Super sticker, man. Big up to you. Let's get some W's in the chat, guys. Make sure you guys are smashing up the likes. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. Let me just go through some of these stats from yesterday's game, man, because this is crazy. 70% possession to 30%. 1.78 expected goals to 0.27 expected goals. 3 big chances to 1. 27 shots to 2, 0 goalkeeper saves to 9 goalkeeper saves, 14 corners to 2 corners, 693 passes compared to 295 passes. Roms, have you ever seen a game in which Liverpool have been battered as much as that, yet somehow win the game?
Bro, I don't think I have. There's games that have come close. I remember Bernabeu and we scammed a 1-0 win in 2009. One in 2000, remember the infamous Risa and Bellamy with the infamous goal string celebration. We've done this before in Europe, but last night was reminiscent of a Benitez performance in the late 2000s. We scammed that, honestly, because the heart palpitations I had in that 90 minutes, it was an onslaught from start to finish. But this is what I would say, right? If that's Simeone, if if that's Ancelotti, if that's any other manager or any other club, they get credit for it. Because it's Liverpool, so Liverpool are poor. A lot of people are still backing PSG to come to Anfield.
Why are people not giving Liverpool credit?
Still get a result, but there's not really a lot of people giving. I don't really care, and I've been one of them people that don't really seek validation from rivals, right? But what I would say, Alisson won us that game predominantly, but these are the things that other fans won't really see, right? Other than Van Dijk making a crazy decision and letting Dembele have a one-on-one shot, his box defending was key. Like the amount of times they put it in the box and he cleared it, his box defending was key. And also, Trent Alexander-Arnold, everyone was ready to crash it on him. I was shaking in my boots. I thought, Kvaratskhelia, Napoli, 3 seasons ago, I was having nightmares. But that was probably one of his best defensive performances, in my opinion. The other side, I think our fan base are going overboard with Robertson. I don't think Robertson had a good game. My fan base begged to differ, but I think Dembele was cooking him repeatedly, but it was Dembele's end product that wasn't that good. But Trent on the other side with Kvaratskhelia, quality. But what was poor for us was our midfield and our attack, because our midfield was misplacing passes all game. And our attack, that's probably one of the worst displays I've seen from a front three of us all season. You know what, funny enough, the only player I'm going to give credit to, and again, I shouldn't really be giving him credit for this because it's the basic fundamentals, is Jota, because I know he was poor going forward, but he was putting in a shift. He was disrupting their press. Sometimes he was even winning the ball back, but it's going the other way. He was stinky. Diaz and Salah, I don't know what to say. Salah, we can give him a black because he saves us pretty much every game. But this is where I want to give the man in charge the most credit again, because when he brought on Elliott and Nunes, the game was getting slightly stretched. Like you could see we were breaking but not doing anything with the ball, right? Where they always had sustained attacks where we were breaking and just passing it off the pitch. They were intercepting it. But he knew Curtis Jones, Nunes and Elliott, he knew they were workhorses, right? And look, I'm not Nunes' biggest fan, but that's typical number 9 play. Held it up, got in a tussle with Marquinhos, brought it down, a lovely way to pass to Robertson. Donnarumma needs to do better, by the way. I've said for years, I don't think he's as good as what people say. I think
You're on mute, LB.
You're on mute, LB.
Apparently they want Chevalier from Lille to replace Donnarumma.
I think they've wanted another keeper for a while, because for his height and stature, he's not that great of a keeper. And I think I got sold a dream. When he was in Italy, I used to think he was this amazing keeper. He's going to be
same.
He's not good.
He's not, and it's not just this game. If you see him in a lot of Champions League games, he makes blunders, and you're like, you're that tall, you're that big, and you can't even.
Yeah, but this is what happens when you buy a player well young, and everyone.
They
just
dropped him for a while as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They did. Yeah,
I think he ended up as a cup goalkeeper at one point. But yeah, it was mad, to be honest with you. But listen, I just think, at the end of the day, PSG were fantastic, right?
Fantastic.
I thought that midfield three we was talking about on the watch along yesterday. I think it's one of the best midfields in the world now. I really think it's a quality. But ultimately, as good as they were, it means absolutely nothing if you don't put the ball in the back of the net. And listen, Alisson made some decent saves. I think most of the saves that I've seen, I expected him to make, but it was the sheer volume. 9 saves the guy made. Do you know what I mean? Not making a single mistake. But PSG, I know they did score that offside goal, which was a fucking brilliant goal. It was unlucky that it was offside.
What a finish.
And obviously, there will be a little bit miffed off that Canate didn't get red carded, because I thought
we got fortunate. I didn't mention that.
There was definitely a red card.
I bet you didn't, mate.
It wasn't a it wasn't a penalty. That was just outside. But
I agree. I said for my replay, I think it was a free kick, but it would have been a red card. But ultimately, they have to blame themselves though, Roms, bro, because they can talk about the red card, they can speak about whatever, but they only have themselves to blame for me, and that's them out the tournament now, because I don't see a world in which they go to Anfield and win. No chance. Not
that Canate situation, right? We all know shoulder to shoulder is eligible, but he literally shoulders him in between the numbers on the back.
Well, it's basically in the back, isn't it? So it's
shoved him in the back, man. It wasn't a penalty, but it's a blatant red card, man. Come on, it was crazy. But for me, I look at the PSV situation, and I've been there many times in the last couple of seasons, actually, where we peppered sides and we've ended up losing or drawing the game. It reminded me of that from PSG. I look at the likes of Dembele. I look at the likes of Kvaratskhelia, who's a hard name to say. I look at the other likes of
How did you get that out, mate? Well done.
Yeah, crazy. And then I look at the situation with Vitinho, who I think is one of the best right now. I think he is unbelievable, man. He just keeps it ticking, that midfield. He's a very, very good player. Can't believe we did not sign him. We signed Fabi Vieira at Porto over ahead of him. That is scary if our scouting. So I look at that and think that PSG have got a chance going to Anfield, but for me, I think it's done. I think Liverpool are through, and I expected them to go through anyway. But you got to say hats off, man, because Liverpool got over the line. And to be fair, with you're normally looking at the Salahs, or maybe you're looking at a situation with Jota as a killer, or you're looking potentially from another sort of area of the pitch. When you look at Harvey Elliott, I think he scored 4 goals for Liverpool, and they pretty much all come in that competition, haven't they, Roms, or like a cup competition? Yeah. So I think fair play, man. It was good from Slot, but yeah, it's killer, man.
I don't know you lot's opinion, but I think 1-0 away from home is the most satisfying scoreline. You keep a clean sheet, you just about get away with it.
Bro,
that's my favourite scoreline in
Paris,
football.
Bro. They would have had a good night, man. You know, I've been there on these European away trips where you score a last minute winner, and it fucking goes off, bro. I remember when we played Schalke about 6-7 years ago, and we was losing 2-1. We might have had 10 men actually. I can't remember. We was losing 2-1. Then Sane scored this fucking unreal free kick to make it 2-2, and then that went off. And then in the last minute of the game, Sterling scored a winner. And they just go off, man. On them European away trips, man, they're just class.
But I don't think Slot's getting enough credit for it. Okay, you definitely should have had a red card. You should have, that offside. I mean, his heel was offside. It's crazy. But, what do great managers always say? You hear Cloughy say, you've heard Fergie, even though I don't really like saying his name. Draw the away games. Come home, win the home tie.
Yep.
So he was going there for 0-0. If you'd finished 0-0 there, it was absolutely perfectly fine. Win your home leg. That's all that matters. And the fact that this showed to me a complete team, because we've seen Liverpool win games at a canter. We've seen them break teams that they should be beating and struggled, where maybe Arsenal and Man City haven't done it this year. You've now seen them do the ugly side. I saw a lot of what Nuno's done this season in what Slot did. It's almost like Slot was taking notes, and I mean that in a complimentary way, because if you go away from home in Europe and you do that and you get yourself a 1-0, I think 0-0, I'm sure Slot and Liverpool fans would have been happy with.
I would have been cheering like it was a winner.
Exactly.
0-0. So
yeah, I've got a question.
It just shows a complete performance, a complete team for me now.
No, I've got a question for Rob. Can I ask you a question, bro? How do you think you're going to set up then at Anfield?
Anfield, we're not going to be as conservative. We're not going to sit back, because as much as we respect PSG, because I didn't predict this scoreline. I thought it'd be a 2-2 draw. But in terms of how we set up, I said on every stream before the game, I bet the possession stats are like 65-35, and I wasn't far off. It was 70-30 in the end. I knew we would kind of be pragmatic, but I didn't know. I got the personnel wrong. I thought he would start Jones and Szoboszlai and do kind of the box midfield, what we did against ULB. But difference is, this is where Slot's a genius. He recognized, hold on, City have midfielders playing as wingers, where PSG have out-and-out wingers. I can't really do the box midfield, because what they'll do is just keep going wide, which they did anyway. We actually need our out-and-out forwards playing. It didn't really bode well for us, but we're going to have a go at Anfield. I actually think the Anfield game's a draw now. That's how much they've earned my respect, but that's enough for us to go through. I don't think we beat them at Anfield now. I genuinely think it'll be a draw. I think both clubs will rotate at the weekend, but we'll go for it. Our fans won't allow us to just be conservative at Anfield. We won't, and it's different. They had their ultras. You couldn't hear my dad and his mate were out there. You couldn't hear a thing. But Anfield will replicate that. So will they. They'll bring their drums. They'll bring their ultras, but we'll bring the atmosphere as well. And I always back our second leg, as long as your club's name's not Real Madrid. Second leg at Anfield in the Champions League, I'll back us against anyone. But I think we draw the game. They're exceptional, and you're hearing Enrique saying, I know we'll beat them at Anfield. The team has come out and said, we're going to beat them at Anfield. They're up for it. And I genuinely think they're going to... Because one thing about that team, normally you see teams kind of tire. They seem to not even fatigue through the whole game. They were relentless from start to finish. And I think they're going to bring that to... And I think we can't get complacent and just kind of disrespect them, thinking, yeah, just because we're at home, they're going to drop off. If anything, they might even raise their game to a whole nother level again. So I can see this being maybe a 1-1 or a 2-1. Or a 2-2, but that'll be enough for us, to be fair. It'll be enough.
Do you think Salah turned up at home, Roms?
Say that again?
Do you think Salah turns up at home?
Because he was poor yesterday. And that's why I want to credit Slot again, because you're taking off our best player who normally saves us in Europe, and you've literally put him on with a player that, let's be honest, Slot doesn't like Elliot. I think he'll probably go in the summer. I don't want Elliot to go, but Slot's out of favour. Like, he doesn't even come on as an impact sub bar last night, even in the Prem. So Salah, I reckon Salah probably scores the in the game at Anfield.
Yeah, he must have been livid because he would have been waiting for that chance all night.
Yeah, he would have.
Yeah.
But then the way the game was going, sometimes the game's just not for you. That chance could have fell for him and he might have just missed. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I just think Salah will do his thing second there, but credit for Slot, man. I think Slot and Alisson are the two reasons why we won that game. The changes and then the individual brilliance of Alisson. But I did want to big up Van Dijk, because a lot of people are just going to look at the time where he let Dembele free. But his box defending, that's probably one of the best performances you'll see as a box defender, because he was clearing everything. And Trent wasn't really giving Kvaratskhelia, other than the goal, much freedom. It was stopping him a lot. And I felt
like first half, Kvara had like quite a lot of success when he went out to the right for a bit and he was causing some issues. Then he went second half, he went left. And I feel like Trent didn't lock him up as such, but Trent was really solid. Definitely made it a lot harder. Yeah. And I think Dembele, I don't know. I feel like Dembele's end product has obviously been better this season, but I feel like it was really poor yesterday, to be honest with you. And I feel like he had chances and opportunities and he was so wasteful with them.
I agree. Listen, let's Wolfie will be back in a set. Let's move it on and finish off on Chelsea, man, because for the first time in this tournament, they've actually got a decent team today. In the Conference League, they're playing Copenhagen. You know what I mean? They've played a lot of Champions League football, so this is actually like a decent tie. Is this going to be your hardest game in this competition, bro? Copenhagen.
Yeah, I definitely think it is. Like, Copenhagen are a side that, I mean, years gone by, we've played them in the Champions League, and they've got players that have got probably Champions League pedigree. I mean, is it Rooney Bargy? I don't know if he's fully fit to play in this game, but he's obviously got huge links with him and a promising future. So, yeah, I think it'll be a tough game. It'll definitely be the toughest game that Chelsea have got in their last three fixtures, which is going to be Southampton, Leicester and Copenhagen. And I think it'll be interesting to see where we're at, because I don't think we can learn much from Chelsea v Southampton, because Southampton are just a team that you can't take anything from a game like that, can you?
Bro, you know if he wins this competition, because you should win this competition. Like, there's a couple of decent teams in there, but you should be winning. If he wins this competition and finishes in the Champions League spots, how are we ranking or rating Maresca's first year? Like, out of 10, what would you say that would be if he won that?
What, and then got Champions League football?
Probably Champions League football.
Probably a 6, I think. Probably about a 6.
Yeah,
I think with Chelsea's squad, I think most managers would be expected to get Champions League football and win the Conference League. But I think there was a moment where at the beginning of the season, probably, which boosted Maresca up, because no one expected him to get Chelsea playing in the way they were, that pushed them closer towards Liverpool and Arsenal at one point. But then also the downfall has been pretty poor as well, which would probably lower him down. So a trophy's a trophy at the end of the day, but I still think it's a trophy that most managers, no matter who they are, would be capable of winning.
I'd probably give it a 6.5.
Yeah, we're one win in 12 or 13 at the moment as well, I think.
Yeah, no, but it don't matter. At the end of the day, if you finish in the top 4, win the
it's something like that. It's dreadful, mate. It's really poor.
What,
might be 2. Might be 2.
Nah, it's 2. It's definitely 2.
It's 2.
You beat
really
Leicester and Southampton, isn't it?
There's obviously a few draws, but
he knows all about that.
We beat West Ham and we beat Southampton, and I think apart from that, we went on a really, really bad run. It's 2 in 13, is that right? 3 in 13, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but it don't matter if you get top 4. The question is, if you get top 4, win that. I think 6.5. I think 6.5, because for me, like the drop off, because he was in that title. Remember, like a month ago, 2 months, not a month ago, maybe 2 months ago now. He was in a title race. He was cooking on gas, and then something just happened, man. And
well, his mentality and the way he was speaking about things, I think, was really damaging. I think there were things that are out of his control, where the team's got worse because of players that we've sold, and a crazy transfer policy haven't helped, and some injuries. But at the same time, he's responsible for part of the fall off, as is any manager when their team goes out of form, because it's on them to get them back to a position of winning. Look, I mean, Pep was partly responsible for what was happening at City, and he's worked himself into the ground to make sure that he could try and recover your season. I think that's what.
Dan,
Yeah.
if you don't win the Conference League and you finish outside the Champions League, do you think he'll sack him?
Yes,
You have to sack
you have to, because
You have
if
to
that
sack him.
happens, it's seriously, Dan. If that happens, I would put his rating down at like a 1 or a 2.
I
I think it
agree.
would be that poor. Because
I
then there would have
agree.
been, I personally then think there would have been no progression. And I think that you could have kept Pochettino and achieved more. And I think you could have sacked Pochettino and hired better and achieved more. So it would have been a pointless managerial appointment. And I genuinely wouldn't see the point in keeping him at the club because I wouldn't believe
you'd have to sack him. You know when you do FIFA career mode, at the start of the career, at the start of the season, it comes up and says objectives, right? For me, Chelsea's objectives this season was bare minimum Champions League football, win the Conference League because it's a fucking shit show how they're even in that. It's embarrassing, and maybe try and do something.
And sign 15 players under 22 and promote them.
Yeah. Develop young players. Yeah, it's fact. Like, if they don't finish in the top 4, failure. They don't win the Conference League, failure. They're not winning the domestic cup. He's failed on every metric. Everything that he's targeted, he's failed. So he has to be sacked. There is no way that you could keep Maresca if he didn't get Champions League this year, at a bare minimum.
Yeah, but what if you reversed it? What if you reversed Chelsea's season? Let's say Chelsea started shit at the start of the season and come into form now, the kind of form you had around, say, October, November time, and he just about, or let's say he gets Europa. Like, would you then be looking at that season and saying, there's progression?
Yeah,
let's give him
I
another year.
think that is exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened under Pochettino. But Pochettino Pochettino, 1, was an experienced manager who had a better rep and was failing for too long. And 2, he was going against the way the club wanted to move, and they disagreed. I think if Maresca, for any manager, I think it's a worrying sign if you start well and then you fall off, because it might suggest that your tactics have been found out, and it also suggests that there isn't progression, and there's a question mark around carrying in form from last season, and also technically a new manager bounce that wore off. I mean, it's for me right now under Maresca, I feel like it's really mimicked what Ange did at Spurs last season. I think it's been extremely similar, actually. I think he got tested after about 12, 15 games, and I don't think he's been anywhere near as good as he's been since that period.
But I don't think they sack him if he doesn't get top 4.
If he doesn't get Champions League, the Conference League might save him.
It's top 5. Top 5.
It doesn't matter.
We finished 6th last season, and we've got a better team than we had.
Yeah, but his objective was not to get Champions League this season, was it?
Wow, I don't believe that.
Said it is. I think
exactly.
He said he wasn't. Then he come out and said it was. I'm confused.
I heard that he said he's got 2 years for it, or whatever.
Yeah,
he
and then he said,
yeah.
Well, what happened is in between those 2 quotes, Chelsea hired a mentality specialist who's like an ex-rugby pro, and then very quickly the quotes did a 180.
Mate, Maresca didn't really come out and say 5 or 10 years time he might be ready to win the Premier League.
Yeah, 5 to 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you've also got Amarim coming out saying trophies don't matter. So, what is going on with football, man?
What is happening with
just
football,
confused, because first he's saying 2028 will win the Prem ban, and then he's saying trophies don't matter. Then he's speaking like he's a sacked man as well. I think managers have just all lost it. Apart from man, I think everyone's lost it.
They want to be sacked. They want those payouts, man.
You know what?
They want them.
It's a really good point. I think some do, and I think some view it as opportunities to obviously get that quick payout and have a very chilled life. But also at the same time, you've got managers like, as much as I don't think he's done a very good job, Ruben Amorim at United is saying, I want to win the Premier League. This is what I want to do. This is my objectives. And yes, he is miles off, and I'm not sure he'll ever do it at Man United. But I would much rather hear my manager saying that than my manager saying, we're not in a title race when you factually you were, when you're in a position where your squad could go on to win something and you completely write it off, and slowly you just lower your expectations as a manager. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear my manager saying that it could potentially be a team that could win something in a much shorter period of time than 10 years.
No, I get what he's saying. I'd sack him if he didn't fucking get top 5. I think that's horrific. Well, yeah, let's see what happens, man. Well, yeah, man, listen, we'll see what happens. Big up to you guys. Obviously, there's some football on tonight. I do a watch along in it. I think United are playing Sociedad. So,
Come on, Sociedad.
Yeah, Chelsea
yeah.
the early game, by the way. We're like 5-4.
So
United.
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 No, Tottenham. What the fuck?
Everyone is.
What?
Everyone is, man.
What is that
Early.
schedule? How are all 3 English teams on a 5:45, man?
Who cares? As long as Sociedad win, man. I don't care. They can put it on 10 a.m. for all I care.
Let's be honest. No one cares about Spurs. Obviously, Dan will be watching Chelsea, and I'm watching the team I hate the most. That's Sociedad.
I'll do the laugh along in it. You know,
That's it. They lose this. They lose this. Their next 4 years are done. So just need them out of Europe.
Mad. All right, big up, guys. Let me finish off with these chats. Big up to LB. Says Liverpool ain't all. Let's be honest. I think Liverpool are just the best of. I don't think Liverpool are amazing, but they're better than everybody else. That's just the truth. And they could win the Champions League and the Prem, which would be disgusting. Do the shit trouble in it. They might do it, boys. They might do it. I'm so glad Plymouth knocked you out of the FA Cup, bro. You know what I mean? I can't lie, man.
The quad again.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Liverpool did an invincible?
By the way, if you're not seeing quickly just on the Carabao Cup final, because it's a week and a bit of time, there's no Botman, Gordon. Isaac apparently has a knock, but he'll be back. And I feel like I'm missing someone. And Lewis Hall's out for the rest of the season. But I don't know about you, though. If you heard that, like, I don't like hearing that because it's like, I think it adds even more pressure because they're going to.
Do you remember last season, Rob? You had all your kids, and Chelsea literally couldn't turn up against them.
Yeah,
that's like the pressure. With all that being said, I still think we still get the job done. But I
think Newcastle needed everybody fit, man.
Yeah.
And they've got too many.
Now their seasons. I actually think their season's in jeopardy. With the injuries they've got.
It might be. Injuries. It might be. Yeah. Big up to LB as well. Says, feel sorry for all them animals that will lose their habitats when the forest gets chopped down on Saturday morning, and the wolves, owls, foxes, and rabbits. Wolf is in no mood.
When Arsenal played deforestation and all this shit, nothing happens.
We'll see, man. Me and Wolf are going to link up, man. We'll do a preview in it, guys. So stay tuned for that one. Yeah, but big up to the panel, big up to Potsy. Make sure you're following Football 12-Man podcast. Make sure you're following Dan as well on what is it? DBD, Dan, is it?
BDB.
I always get it wrong. Big up to Wolfie Forest Fan TV and Rom's on the podcast, man. What's your podcast called again, bro?
Football Verbal.
Football Verbal. There you go, man. So big up to you guys. Smash a like. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. Yeah, if United get beat, we'll do a Saeed bingo card, innit? And we'll see if we can win one, man. But yeah, big up to you guys. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you in the next one. See you later.